All right. I'm having to re-record this because I had an audio hiccup, so I guess that was just a practice run. In this video, we're talking about Zealot's Reward, guys, and holy crap, is this fusion rifle awesome. The hype is real. Man, so I think it's been the last few weeks, maybe a month, that I've been hearing about this. I know True Vanguard did a couple of videos, and everyone's just like, this weapon's insane. Like, it's the best feeling fusion rifle for PvP. I've loved rapid fire fusions. I love the Cartesian Coordinate. I've been having a blast using that in PvP. I've had a bunch of videos up over, last couple months with it. But I haven't had a chance to play Garden of Salvation. When that raid came out, I had taken a break from the game. I think my son had just been born. I wasn't playing as much Destiny. I kind of needed to play games that I could pause. So I was playing a lot of Monster Hunter World at the time. And ever since I jumped back into the game a few seasons ago, I've been focusing on any raid time I had available. I was playing Vault of Glass to hunt down a mythic class. Finally got that after 30-something clears. This past week, I ran Garden of Salvation with my clan, and first encounter, I got a Zealot's Reward to drop with what I think is like the absolute god roll for PvP. Now it's a little bit easier to target farm for the role you want because there are only 4 perks in the last 2 columns, so that makes it much easier to get something you want. Really, for PvP, the god roll you want is Under Pressure High Impact Reserves, which is basically the same as Cartesian Coordinate. So really it's like, okay, they can roll the same perks, and everyone's just like, God, Zealot's Reward feels so much better, but nobody can elaborate on why. Well, I will tell you why, and it's because of the hidden stat of Recoil Direction. I literally have looked on the subreddit and a few videos. I haven't watched everything. I can't watch everything. I don't have that much time, but no one's mentioned the recoil stat direction, and that is a huge part of what a weapon feels like. Whether it pulls a little bit to the left or right, or whether it has perfectly vertical recoil. Now, as far as recoil direction goes, you want it to end on either a 0 or a 5. A 5 will give you perfect recoil direction vertically. A 0 means you can throw a counterbalance mod on it, which gives 15 recoil direction, so that it'll end in a 5 if it starts with a 0, right? So if it starts at 40, you throw one on there, it'll get it up to 55. Great, that's good recoil direction right there. Now, the difference between 55 and 95, you might be asking, is what? Well, they both end on 5. They're both vertical, right? Well, 95 will be more consistently vertical. You're going to still have a little bit of back and forth. It's going to be pretty tight and very minimal at 55. But the higher you get that tens column up, the more consistently vertical it's going to be until you hit 100, where it's just going to be perfectly vertical with no deviation. Now, Zealot's Reward starts with a 49 recoil direction. Okay, that's almost 50. So we throw a counterbalance mod on that, and what's that going to do? Counterbalance is going to bring us up to 64. So we're just 1 off of 65, which is pretty tight. I mean, that's pretty vertical, right? Much more consistent than it was before. If we go back and look, 49 is almost entirely hard to the left, right? If it was 50, that'd be the worst possible recoil direction. 49, almost as bad, but that's good because it means when we put a counterbalance on, we're at 64. Now, my dream roll I think I was looking for here was, aside from Under Pressure High Impact Reserves, was going to be Particle Repeater, which I did get for the 9 stability. I think stability is the most important perk to stack on fusion rifles, especially the rapid fire ones. You want that tighter bolt spread because they shoot 9 bolts now. You want that to be tight. So you want to get stability as high as you can. And then I was going to go for, hopefully get an arrowhead break for that extra 30 recoil direction. That would have brought it up to 94, which, look at that. The line is almost perfectly vertical now, and it's very small, so there's very little deviation in that. But I did get Chambered Compensator, which is still plus 10 recoil direction. And it also gives you 9 stability. You lose 4 handling, which isn't too bad. This weapon has really high handling already. Most of the rapid fires have high handling already. And plus I run this with Ophidian aspects. So that's not too big of an issue for me. So I think I had Hammer Forged rifling so I could have 9 range. But I much prefer the extra stability and the recoil direction, because it just feels, I mean, it is night and day. Like, I've got over 1,000 kills on my Cartesian Coordinate. Within the first game I played with Zealot's Reward, I immediately was like, oh, that's it. I'm done with my Cartesian Coordinate. I mean, this thing is just so much better. It's insane. Not to mention on my second game, I got a Wii Ran, so I'm like, yeah. So that right there is why this, in my head, that's why it feels so much better to use for people. Without, no one's touched on this, which is just kind of boggle my mind. Like, it's the first thing I look at when I pick up a new weapon. Now, a lot of people don't know that that stat is hidden, because it's hidden, right? Unless you're going to something like D2 Gunsmith, which I advise everyone to go check out their roles on there. It'll give you estimated range. It'll show you the hidden stats, like your aim assist and your zoom factor and your recoil direction, which are all very important. So it's kind of like those are like hugely important stats that I don't understand why they're still hidden in the game. I mean, recoil direction is such a huge reason of why guns feel good or why a gun feels bad. And zoom factor, that hugely influences the max range of your weapon. So Zealot's Reward actually has the lowest of the three between Cartesian and Null Composure. It has a 15 zoom, with Null at 16 and Cartesian at 17. Actually, I'm sorry. Cartesian starts at 15, but the difference with Cartesian is instead of barrels, it can roll scopes or sights. So with the red dot micro, you get +2 zoom, so that'll bring you up to 17 zoom. So Cartesian does have the potential for the further one-hit kill. I think it can secure one-hit kills up to about 19-20 meters, but it doesn't feel as good to shoot. And the reason why is because it's recoil direction. Cartesian Coordinate's recoil direction. Let's look at it without a counterbalance mod on. It's 52. That's pretty bad. So you're 2 away now from that ideal number. So you're 1 extra point further away than Zealot's Reward is. And we throw a counterbalance mod on that. Brings us to 67. So that's better, but it's still harsher pulling to the left than Zealot's Reward is. And plus, you can't get it any higher, while Zealot's Reward can roll Arrowhead Breaker Chambered Compensator, which I think is a big reason why everyone prefers the way Zealot's Reward shoots over Cartesian Coordinate, even though Cartesian Coordinate can technically secure an extra maybe 2-3 meters in its one-hit kill potential. The thing you got to be asking, though, is how often are you getting kills at your max range for your weapon? And I not even just for this, but all your weapons, right? I challenge you, go back, record, a night's worth or a week's worth of gameplay and go back and look at it and take note of, how many of your kills come from your primary? How many of them come from your special weapon? And what ranges are you getting those kills at? How many of your kills are in the air? Because I know the first thing, like ideally in PvP, you're going to want to run an Icarus mod, right? But I don't even think about an Icarus mod until I look at the recoil direction and determine whether or not counterbalance is going to fix it or not. If I need counterbalance, I'd much rather run counterbalance to have a smoother, more consistent shot on any of my weapons than be able to secure, more accuracy in the air, which may only apply once every 10 kills, right? Even if it's not that few, you're probably getting more kills from the ground than you are in the air. So that's kind of how I weigh those perks against each other. Now, if we look at Null Composure compared to Cartesian and Zealot's Reward. So Null Composure, everyone's got the same roll on it, right? You got Fluted Barrel, Projection Fuse. And for PvP, you're going to want to run Heating Up and High Impact Reserves. So the main difference here is Null Composure comes with a recoil direction of 55 and a zoom of 16. So that right there, that on its own is better than both Zealots and Cartesian. But there's a but. So if we look at what the big differentiator is, it's under pressure. Null Composure is stuck with heating up, while both Cartesian and Zealots can run under pressure. Now, heating up, if you get a kill almost matches Under Pressure, but you have to get that first kill. And it only lasts for 5.5 seconds. So in very niche situations, Null Composure, like if you're fighting their whole team, it might outperform Cartesian or Zealots. But you've got to secure that first kill. And then from there, you'll have, 15% accuracy, 15 stability, and 20 recoil direction, which makes this a monster. It goes up to 75 recoil direction, another 15 stability, so you're up to like 61 stability, another 15% accuracy, and then after 2 kills, I mean, you're at like 95 recoil direction, 30 stability, 30% accuracy. But if that falls off, which it definitely will, you're not going to be getting kills 5 seconds apart the entire match. You're going to be starting over with nothing again. So that's kind of why Zealots, I think, feels much better and is just going to be the overall more consistent pick. And Null Composure, it's got a perfectly vertical recoil, but like I said, it's only 55 to start. So that first shot really is not going to be as consistent as Zealots with a 74, even though it's not perfectly. Those extra 20 in the tens column is going to mean it's more consistently pulling to that same spot. Like I said, when I was firing it, it felt perfectly vertical. I didn't really feel much recoil between Under Pressure and the high recoil direction stat I have on mine. It just felt perfect. Yeah, so I initially was looking for Arrowhead Break, but I really like Chambered Compensator because you get the 9 stability plus the 10 recoil direction. I was really hoping for a ranged or stability masterwork on mine. I didn't get that. I got a charge time masterwork, which I was initially kind of upset about. And then I just said, screw it. I'm going to just, masterwork this thing and go play with it. And I didn't notice it. Because I'm landing all my bolts, or most of the time I'm landing, at least 7 bolts. Plus, Bungie even said with the changes they made that the charge time masterwork is rarely going to increase the amount of bolts it takes to kill. And that's exactly what I experienced. Plus, I run with, charge with light. So I've got high impact fire, which I can get from either picking up orbs, or I also like to run charge harvester, which after any combination of 5 kills or assists, I'll get a charge of light. Yeah, I lose 5 recovery. I make up for it. I still run 100 recovery. I just think it's worth it. It's just an extra source because I very regularly will get, 5 kills or assists. And then that'll let me get that extra damage on the next one, which will help keep that chain going, right? So I am not displeased at all with the charge time masterwork. I think it actually is, I would go for it again. I wouldn't complain if I got a stability or a range roll. Probably range at this point because I feel like this thing's so stable. It's already a laser. I don't even need more stability. As it is, I think I have 53 stability. If we look at a God roll Cartesian Coordinate, that's only at 51 stability. So Zealots can get more stability. Null Composure only hits 46 stability. So you add all that up, that's why Zealot's reward feels better. That's it right there. It's that recoil direction. It's got strong base stats. Plus it can roll that magic combination of Under Pressure and high impact reserves. Forgot to mention, it sounds freaking amazing too. And even though it doesn't have as far a kill potential as Cartesian Coordinate, it just feels so good to shoot. And you know what? At the end of the day, I think that's all that matters. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little comparison. I think next I'm going to do a deep dive into the Time War Inspire and why I might like it better than Darkest Before. Thanks, guys. Take care.